Hi warriors, welcome back to the RA Yogi. My name is Julia, your yoga instructor for arthritis, and today is day 2 of our warrior series, and I'll be guiding you through a video step by step on how to practice warrior 2 in a standing variation without props, a standing variation with the use of a sturdy chair, and a seated, more accessible variation for those that might have difficulty supporting one's body weight or supporting affected joints with arthritis. For today's short yoga practice, you'll need a yoga mat, a sturdy chair without arms, and if you have a yoga wedge at home, you can bring along a yoga wedge. It might look like this. I like using the yoga wedge because of the angle. So if you do have any deformations of the joints of the toes, feet, and ankles, this could be a very valuable prop to invest in. It's really cheap. You can find it on Amazon or some other online store, and that's where I got mine. So gather your props and we'll meet right back here to begin our Warrior Series Day 2. Let's begin at the top of our mats. In Tadasana mountain pose, ground through the 4 edges of the feet with your palms facing forward. I like facing the light and a window in my space to really invite that energy, to invite some sunlight into my practice. But if you don't have a window in this room, then it's perfectly fine. I will send you some of that light today in this practice. So take a few mindful breaths, soften the knees, roll back the shoulders, and find your stance in Tadasana mountain pose. Slide your left foot back on a separate track from your right foot, like we did in our first video. If you haven't taken my first video for Warrior 1, I'll link it right above, and you can start with that video first, because you want to know the foundation before moving to day 2. Bending into our front knee, we're reaching up the arms if that's available to us in Warrior 1, tucking the tailbone under, checking the alignment of our knee, making sure it's aligned with the middle toe. And we're taking a few breaths. And from Warrior 1, we'll take Warrior 2. So send your hands down to heart center. Breathe in and breathe out. If it's easier, you can send your hands to your hips, and you're going to open up your left foot to the left side, turning the foot 90 degrees perpendicular to the front foot. You're bending into that front knee, making sure it's aligned with the middle toe and only going over the ankle to not put extra pressure on that front joint. And notice how I'm facing you in this video. And the next option is going to be to send our hands to our hearts. I'll be talking about all of the benefits at the end of this video. Because it's a quite challenging pose, you are using your strength, your breath. So I rather focus in on cueing you on the pose than talking about all of the benefits of the posture. You should be feeling it in the legs. You're lengthening through the spine, and you have the option now to reach and lift the arms to shoulder height. Now you should be feeling in the body. If you need to back off for any reason, you can gently straighten that front knee for a moment if you're feeling too much pressure in the front of your quad. And when you're ready to come back into the pose, ground through the edges of your back foot and gently bend back into that knee. If it feels good for the shoulders, you can keep your head in line with your spine, or gently turn the head over your right fingertips to gaze over the fingers, spreading the fingers nice and wide in Warrior 2, Virabhadrasana II. We'll take a few mindful breaths, remembering to listen to our body if it's too much, easing off. And coming back into the pose if that feels good. noticing what feels good in your body. Breathing in through the nostrils and breathing out through the nostrils. Engaging belly to spine with every exhale. Feeling the strength of the arms, the torso, the legs. When you're ready, you can send your hands back to heart center. And from here, you can keep this knee bent. Turn the toes forward and pressing through the front heel and the back foot, step forward back into Tadasana. Palms facing forward, breathing. Notice the strength in your leg. We'll take it to the other side from Tadasana. Slide that right foot back on 2 separate tracks, and we're gently sending our back heel down towards the floor, bending into that front knee, sending the hands to the hips if that's comfortable. And once we have our knee in line with our middle toe and over the heel, we can engage the core, find our balance, and slowly reach our arms up for warrior one. Those hips are facing forward. Soften at the shoulders, gazing straight ahead. And I will be facing away from you in this particular posture, but you'll be able to see a different angle of the pose. So from here, you can send your hands down to heart center. Take an inhale and exhale. You're stretching the back of your calf, back of your leg. And from here, send your hands down to your hips like last time. This time, we're going to open up our back foot, this time pointing our right toes to the right wall. And our foot is perpendicular at 90 degrees to the front foot. So we're opening up our hip. And I know that you can't see it from this side, but I wanted to be able to guide you from where you are in this position. So we're going to breathe, ground into the 4 edges of the foot. You're opening up that right hip, and from here you can send your hands to heart center. Or the second option is to reach your arms parallel to the earth. At shoulder height, spread the fingers wide. You either keep your head in line with your spine. If you have any cervical arthritis, any neck arthritis, or any injuries of the neck, you can stay right here. Breathe. Or you can gaze over your left fingertips in Warrior II, Virabhadrasana II, for a few mindful breaths. Remember that you can back off by straightening your front leg at any time. And when you're ready, you can gently bend into that front knee, coming back into Warrior II. And when you're ready to come out of the pose, make sure you're activating the muscles of the thighs. Both of the thighs, engage the glute, protecting your back knee from collapsing. When you're ready to come out of the pose, send your hands to heart, gaze towards the right side wall. We're going to turn our back toes forward, back on 2 separate tracks in alignment, using our balance. Step forward, drive into your left heel, and we'll come back into Tadasana Mountain Pose. Few mindful breaths. Breathe in through the nostrils. Exhale through the nostrils. And now we'll move into the other variations of this pose. You'll just need a chair and possibly a foam wedge. Standing variation of Warrior II with a chair. Stand at the top of your mat with your fingertips to your chair for balance and ground into the 4 edges of the feet. Please note that you can keep one of your hands on the chair at all times, supporting your balance and creating a safe environment for your yoga practice. Breathe in and out. Bend the knees slightly, taking any pressure off the knees and the low back. And we'll slide our left foot back into Warrior One like we did last time. You have the option now to send the left arm up instead of both arms, keeping one hand for balance. Tuck the tailbone under. The knee comes over the ankle, and we're making sure that both sets of our toes and our hips are facing forward in Warrior One. Take a few mindful breaths, softening the shoulders. And when you're ready, you can send your hand to heart center, fingertips to the chair. And when you're ready, send your left hand to your hip. And then we're going to open up again. Left toes pointing towards the left, foot perpendicular to the front foot. Now start to bend into that front knee, tracking the alignment with your middle toe. We're going to keep our hand on our chair today for the chair posture. Breathe in, lengthen the spine, bend into that front knee, and slowly you can reach the left arm up, coming into Warrior Two, Virabhadrasana II. You should feel it in the legs, the core, the arms. Slowly you can gaze towards the front, over your chair if that's available for the neck. Keep softening the shoulders without dropping that back arm, coming into Warrior Two with the chair. We're still feeling our muscles working, feeling our fierce inner warriors. When you're ready to come out of the pose, you can gently send your hand back to your heart, gazing back towards the video. We're sending our hand back to the hip. Slowly turn the toes forward. So now both of our knees are facing forward. Take both of your hands to the chair, breathe in. And then exhale, drive through the front foot to send your back leg in line with the right. We're breathing into Tadasana mountain pose using our chair. And take as much time as you need to rest, to regain a steady heart rate. You might notice your heart rate, your heart started to beat a little bit faster because we are working the heart. We are working our cardiovascular system, our muscular system, so many of our different physical systems during a yoga practice. And I'm going to turn my chair to the other side so you can see the other side. So this time we're going to be stepping back with the right foot. Come into Tadasana, mountain pose. You're always welcome to send one hand forward or both hands forward. Exhale fully. And send the fingertips back to the chair. Slide your right foot back, straight back behind you, sending your right foot forward. Your toes are facing forward, your hips are facing forward. Bend into your front knee just until over the ankle, coming into Warrior One. Sending your right arm up this time. Breathing in, softening the shoulders, spreading the fingers wide. Notice the posture as we gently reach the heel down towards the floor, a yoga wedge, or keeping our toes on the balls of our feet, depending on the comfort of the foot. And from here, we'll send our hand down to our heart, and then to our hip. Step back with the support of your hand on your chair, and open up the toes to the right side. So our right leg is coming back. Our right foot is perpendicular to that front foot. You can use a foam wedge if you have discomfort placing the edge of your foot down on your yoga mat. Because it's at an angle, it provides you with a little extra support, keeping the alignment. Make sure to really create a wide stance. Maybe you're like a little bit closer together. Take your time, create a wide stance. And an extra tip, you can always place the foam wedge underneath your yoga mat for more steadiness and more support. And we're going to breathe in and exhale to bend into that front knee. Ground into the edges of the back foot. When you're ready, you can send your hand to heart center. Noticing that we're gazing forward here, keeping our head in line with our spine. Next, we can send our right arm up to shoulder height, lifting that arm up, using the muscles of the arms, our core, our back. And then slowly, if this feels good, you can slowly gaze over the front of your chair, softening your shoulders away from the ears in Warrior II, Virabhadrasana II, standing with the support of a chair. Listen to your body. If you need to back off for a moment, you can strain that front leg slightly. And when you're ready, you can bend the front knee, coming back over the ankle. When you're ready to come out of the pose, after a few mindful breaths, you can slowly send your right hand back to your heart. And when you're ready, send your hand to your hip. Turn the back foot forward, keeping your left knee bent. Send both of your hands and your fingertips to the chair. Inhale and exhale to drive through that front heel to send both of your feet back to the front of your chair into the asana mountain pose. Always checking in to notice how you feel after you've completed a posture. Notice any shifts in the mind and the body. Maybe you feel more relaxed. Maybe you feel a little stronger, a little bit more balanced, focused, steady. And lastly, we'll come down to our chairs and take a seated variation of Warrior II. Let's find a seat on the edge of our chair, making sure that we can sit upright so we're not relaxing back in our chair. We really want to use our postural muscles just for a moment. We're working the postural muscles, sitting nice and tall in our chair with an elongated spine. Your palms can be facing up in your lap or by your sides for Tadasana mountain pose. I always like to begin with a foundational pose like Tadasana to root down. And from here, taking a few mindful breaths. And we'll take our time, if we've closed our eyes, to float open the eyes. And we'll be sending our body into Warrior I, followed by Warrior II. And I'll be taking this variation sideways on my chair. So the back of the chair is behind me. I like to turn to the side and send my back foot behind me, coming into a variation of Warrior I. My arm is relaxed on the chair. As you can see, I have my toes curled under. That's not comfortable for everyone. So you can take a folded blanket or a cushion, relaxing my shin into this meditation cushion, or a few throw pillows from the couch that are stacked. Sending my hand to heart center, coming into a variation of Warrior I. My two hips are facing forward. I'm reaching my left arm overhead. My arm is in line with my ears. If that's not comfortable, it's okay to focus on how far we can reach our arm up without any pain. That's where we want to stop. We're breathing in and out, gazing forward in Warrior I. taking a few mindful breaths in this pose. And we're focused on Warrior II today. To make Warrior II accessible in the chair, we want to take the same type of instructions for standing. So send your hand to heart, feel the heart. Feel the heart of a warrior. And next, we're going to send our hand to our hip, just like we did before, but you have the support of the back of your chair. And we're going to slide back so that our thigh is supported by our chair. And we're going to slowly send our foot slightly diagonal instead of being fully forward, slightly diagonal, but in line with the middle toe. We're going to stretch out our left leg, but keeping in mind if you have any ligament tears, to really just focus on grounding through the edges of the feet, being really careful here with our bodies, maybe even sitting down with a bit of a bent knee, ground into the body. We're not leaning over our left thigh or our right thigh, we're just centered over the pelvis. Our knee is in line with our ankle, and from here, without placing weight on the joints because we're seated in our chair, lengthen your spine and send your arms up parallel if that's available to you. If you want to keep maybe one hand on the chair or one hand behind you, that's okay for balance, whatever feels most comfortable for you. I feel pretty steady here, so I feel comfortable enough to send my hands parallel to the earth. I'm still grounding into the edge of my feet. And if this feels good for your neck, you can slowly turn your head and gaze over your right fingertips. Breathe in and out in Warrior II. Engage the thighs and try to pull them outward. So you're continuing to set your knee in line with your middle toe. And when you're ready, you can send your hands to your heart center. Send your hands down to your hips, maybe down to a chair. Bend your knees. And we're going to come into a bit of a yogic squat for a moment, just to breathe. It's a wide stance. You can also take mountain by heel toeing the feet back to center. There you go. And we're back in mountain. I like to take my time with that pose because even if you're seated, it doesn't mean that it's not challenging. It doesn't mean that there's no possibility of getting injured. We want to take our time step by step to make sure you have all of the tools in this pose. If you have a Charlie horse, or if you feel some kind of numbing in the legs or in the ankles or in the feet, you can slowly come out of the pose. You can take a gentle walk if you'd like, or put a bit of pressure on the foot, maybe rotate the ankles for a moment. I know that some of my students have circulatory issues. It's really important that you listen to your body and how you feel. You don't want to stay in a pose if you're experiencing some kind of numbness or tingling or pain. So you can move out of it gently, try to get that circulation flowing, and then come to the other side when you're ready. And breathe fully into the belly, diaphragm, and the chest. Exhale completely. We're going to turn the body to the left, sending our right leg behind us. Our front foot is in line with our knee. Again, I'm up on my toes. That's not super comfortable for me. It might be comfortable for some of you. I like to add a prop, take some exploring and some different variations to find what works for us. I'm feeling a nice stretch in my hip flexor here. I'm relaxed. My foot is not in any pain. It's completely relaxed on this meditation cushion. From here, I'm going to send my right hand to my heart. My left arm is supported on the top of the the seat. Breathe in and out. Feeling your warrior heart. You have the option to reach your right arm up overhead as far as it's comfortable for you in Warrior One, and take a few mindful breaths, expanding through the rib cage, sending your breath through the rib cage and all of the ribs, the intercostal muscles. And when you're ready to come into Warrior Two, you can send your hand down back to your heart for a breath in and out, and to your hip. And we're going to slowly inch back on our chair if we need to send our thigh underneath the seat. And we're going to open up the hip, so turning to open like we did last time. And I want to make sure that I can ground onto my mat. So I'm going to scoot over a little bit. So I've opened up into Warrior Two. My foot is perpendicular to the front foot. I'm grounding into the edges of the feet. So you can see my knees in line with my middle toe. And from here, I'm going to send my left hand to my heart, breathing in and out. You can either keep your hand on your chair, reach one arm up, or reach both arms up. You have the option to keep the head in line with the spine, or to turn the head to the left and gaze over the left fingertips, spread the fingers wide. Warrior Two, seated on your chair, Virabhadrasana II, seated. Engage the thighs muscles. So we're trying to open those thigh muscles. Keep grounding to the edges of the feet. Breathe in. Breathe out. Pull belly to spine with every exhale, feeling strong in our warrior pose. And at any time, if you want to come out of the posture, be very mindful. Relax the arms back to the heart. Send your hands to your hips. Bend both knees. Coming into a yogic squat seated on our chair. Just to breathe, open up the palms to the insides of the thighs. Inhale and exhale. You can slowly send the feet, heel toe them back to center, back into Tadasana, mountain pose. Palms facing forward on our lap or out at our sides. Taking a moment again to notice how we feel after taking the seated variation of this posture. It should feel really nice, and you've learned 3 new ways today of practicing Warrior Two. Some of the benefits of Warrior Two include strengthening the feet, ankles, and legs, strengthening and stretching the groin, the hips, the legs, the back, the core. This is a therapeutic exercise for people living with flat feet that might have issues with flat feet, carpal tunnel syndrome, as well as sciatica, osteoporosis, and arthritis. Some of the additional benefits include improved focus, steadiness, endurance, as well as confidence and cultivating a sense of inner warrior. We'll be continuing with this warrior series. If you liked it so far, go ahead, like the videos in this series, and subscribe to my free YouTube channel, supporting free yoga for arthritis online. I would greatly appreciate your support, and I look forward to seeing you for day 3. I hope that you have a great day, and remember that you are all warriors on and off of the yoga mat. From my heart to yours. Namaste, and I'll see you next time.